Hello everyone, this is Wade from Hartley Aerial. Welcome to our tour of the 2023 Throwdown the Mountain Challenge. I am here with disc golf legend, Team Discraft icon, and multiple time champion at the mountain himself, CR Willey. Brought to you by Sun King Discs.
Hi gang, this is CR Willey, touching base with you, watching some video of this incredible course known as the Canyon in Brooksville, Florida. Just an amazing property, piece of land. So glad to hear the great news. World champ Paul Macbeth and Dylan Cease picking up the tab on the property to make sure it will be a year-round course. In Florida, it is so challenging. I've been blessed to be here since the very beginning. Helped plant some of the very first baskets ever put on this property 20 plus years ago. And now I'm going to walk you through the course. Hole 1 is a par 3 uphill. There's one tree just off the tee that you need to, some people throw sidearm, some people throw backhand right off the tee. There is out of bounds on the right. Very challenging little uphill 316 hole. Hole 2, there's a choice of gaps. You either play downhill to get on the flat land, or you try to fly the straight shot through the tunnel. The tunnel is a shortcut. If you want to birdie it, you really need to take the tunnel approach. But then as you get down through the fairway, you have another choice of gaps. And lurking up by the basket is a barbed wire fence, which is out of bounds. So if you get too aggressive, you may wind up out of bounds. And this is a very, very tricky little par 4 placement off the tee, and also placement for your par shot. If you want to save par, there's some monster sawgrass right in front of it. As you see, we just get up to the basket. Behind the basket on the next ledge, there is the out of bounds. Hole 3 is a placement off the tee. You want to land your drive off of the, used to be a logging trail. It is a par 4, 538, and it's a little tougher than it looks once you get to the logging trail because it's a blind shot and the basket is up on a little knoll. And once again, we have the barbed wire fence along the right side of the fairway, which is out of bounds. At this course, you do get 2 meters off of any barbed wire fence. So if you are near the fence, you do get some relief. Hole 4 is a very tough par 3. 406, comes out of this tight little tunnel, avoid a couple trees, and then the basket goes along a ridge, which is very tricky. Very tricky to get there in one shot to have any chance of a birdie putt at it. Can't wait to see how the pros play it this year. Hole 5, one hole after another is tough here. That's this challenge of this course. Here's another par 3. It's 375 around the corner, but it's such a tight gap to get around there. You really have to power a shot around the corner and hope you break through into the opening to have any type of a look at the basket and also look for a birdie. Hole 6 is another par 4, 694. It's blind tee shot, which is downhill and hooks around the corner into an open, smaller type little meadow, but it also is very grassy. The big arms are going to get down here where they will have a look at the basket from about this point. The basket rests up on a little shelf, and a very, very demanding par 4. You will see a lot of birdies on this hole. So picturesque. Hole 7's You would almost say this is like a basic par 3 straight approach shot, but there's a huge drop off to the right, and it plays on top of a ridge. So gravity comes into play a little bit different than you would think. Even though we're in Florida and we're not talking thousands of feet of elevation change, there is some elevation change. Like hole 8 right here. How beautiful is this? A par 3, 425, 429. You have to get out of the chute, and then it goes uphill. Through the years, this hole has had a couple different numbers. It used to be the starting hole as hole 1, but played from a different area. There's just so many course designs through the years. This is just such a great hole. World-class hole right here. Hole 9 is another ridge shot that you really have a few trees that you have to manipulate the disc through. It's really, you got to put the disc on a frozen rope to get it to the basket if you want any chance of a birdie. It's a tight little gap, and then it also, along the ridge, it goes uphill slightly, and it drops off on the right side. So placement shot, straight ahead, and tough. Hole 10's a par 4, 535. This is one of the newer holes in the last couple of years, and the players really seem to like it. Nice little tube tunnel shot right off the tee for a placement shot that then you have to throw straight up the hill to get to the basket. You probably will see quite a few birdies with the pro cards on this hole. Just beautiful green up here, too, once you get up here. Hole 11 is a downhill, 599, tucked around the corner. Once you get down the hill into the big open field, there's a couple different gaps to take your approach shots up to get to the basket. One hole after another is just beautiful on this property. Here's hole 12. It's a par 4. Snakes and slithers through the trees. This is a very tough par 4. There's so many trees. It's one of those holes you would almost think the hole is measured in trees, not feet. To get there in 3 is going to be a well-determined disc golfer. I'd like to see how many birdies actually show up on this card. This may be a hole that par is a very good score. As we start building the course further along, here's hole 13. It's nearly an 800-foot hole with 2 precision drives. First, you need to come out of the chute and climb the little cliff wall that's there. And there's a Mando along the way that you have to play to the right side of the trees and the Mando sign to get back up through the meadow and then find your way to the basket. This is a very demanding par 4. Anyone that has played this hole in the past will notice how it is cleared out, so that this year I believe you'll see more, maybe a couple birdies put out on this hole. Hole 14 is just a gem of a hole. Nearly 1,000-footer, par 5. First shot off the tee goes down on the gap. You really need to get your tee shot to land flat and stay in the middle of the fairway right off the bat so you can have at least a decent attempt at getting up there in 3. There will be maybe a couple eagles on this hole with the big arms that are thrown so far these days. Hole 15's a nice par 4, runs along the fence line, and then cuts back to the left. Most drives will get all the way down to the chute, which I think still leaves you about a 250-foot hole to get to the basket. This hole does give up quite a few birdies, but par is also a good score on this hole as there's so many different undulations to the fairway. And also, once you get closer to the basket, There's a lot of trees, little neat little parts, nuances to this hole, that uneven footing for your approach shots. Just a gorgeous hole. If there is one relatively easy hole on this course, it is this hole, measured at 166. Maybe the only aceable hole, in my opinion, out here. But right behind the basket, it drops off so quickly. If you take any type of a run or a stab at the basket, you're looking at a 40-foot comeback putt with a sheer drop-off right behind it. So huge risk-reward on that one. Hole 17 has OB stretching all along the left side, and now there's a little bit of an OB line on an old swamp on the right side just off the tee. It's a 400-foot par 3 that slithers on top of a ridge crest and a cliff to the left. So there's a good reason that there is out of bounds on the left. It's very dangerous on that left side. Good luck on this one. This is the iconic hole 18. This is one of the highest areas in the whole state of Florida. Teeing off through this incredible gap, you're throwing down into the meadow. There is a huge pond swamp in the area. So you're throwing down maybe 3 stories, 4 stories down to a flat landing area, and then you're throwing back up 3 stories to get to the basket, which sits on top of another shelf, ledge. The best drivers in the world still will hold off on trying to reach this 1-in-1. Occasionally someone will get up there, but most of the times people want to play it short to the bottom of the deck of the canyon and then toss up to this basket. Thanks for listening to myself, CR Willey, and hope you guys enjoy the canyon. This is just one incredible course that through the years, there's been so much joy out here at this course, and it's one of the most extreme disc golf experiences you'll ever have.